Hello, I'm Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 2 p.m. on Saturday in Queensland, Australia, tomorrow. So we're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California.
Tonight we'll be doing a profile on Elon Musk, and we'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Tonight we're talking about Elon Reeve Musk. And hi, Ryan. He got here early, which you can do if you're on YouTube. You can't do it on Facebook.
Right. Should we share the screen and kind of cover those?
Oh, the different sorts.
Yeah, we found some really good websites. And we definitely want to, let's see. All right, appreciate it. So, yeah, cool. Probably more.
Well, that, here, let's go back to us. It's kind of like millipede. It has 17 pairs of legs.
Hi, Dawn.
They just got tired of counting.
So we found a bunch of websites, and there's some really cool information. And we do have kind of a list in case we've missed anything from the websites themselves. We'll kind of cover a bit of a chronology about Mr. Musk. But yeah, so let's see.
Let's just go through the websites. We're not going to be reading off of any of the websites just because.
Maybe periodically we'll cover some things, but you can certainly find out all kinds of stuff. And I was surprised about some things. Like he has 10 children from 3 different mothers. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, they talk about his the basics, founder and CEO of SpaceX, angel investor, so on and so forth. The board of this guy's done so much stuff all at once. It's bloody amazing. He started this, and then he started that, and then he started the other thing. And a lot of what's really incredible is that he did it fast. Like he sold the one company, and then a few years later he sold another company, and then like in 3 years he went from nothing to millions of dollars. Quite amazing. Of course, they talk about he was born in Pretoria, and he actually has a couple of degrees. University of Pretoria, and then he was in Queen's University, University of Pennsylvania, and started up in Stanford
for 2 days.
For 2 days. And then he and his brother created this Zip2 company. There it is, acquired by Compaq, $307 million. Oh, hello, Ryan.
Lots of kids, thousands, as in 1,000 ups. Yes, thanks.
Yeah, no, we don't have lots of kids, but
no, he was talking about
his trees.
He was talking to, but
Elon. Okay,
yes.
Yeah, there's a funny comment. He said something about population.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of concern about first world country populations declining, and he said, "I'm doing my part."
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of funny stuff about him.
Hey, if he can support them and everyone's okay,
he clearly can. Although I don't know how much time he spends with 10 and all these businesses and everything. But yeah, he and his brother Kimball co-founded Zip2. Then they sold it, and then they created it was he and some other people did XCOM. They call it a direct bank. Then they merged with Confinity to form PayPal, and PayPal is the big one a lot of us hear about, of course. And then a couple years later, it was acquired by eBay. Oh, hey, Scott, welcome.
Yeah, it seems like Elon's fun time is just more work. I wonder if he has any relaxing hobbies.
They don't talk about that on the Wikipedia page.
Well, yeah, but I think they become businesses.
Yeah.
We'll go into more detail, but he's started a lot of things.
Right. So, yeah, just tons and tons of great information. And here's about the spouses, and then Grimes is kind of not a spouse. But...
Yeah, but that if you want to hear the gossip, just look at this and some of the others.
Yeah, Wiki's a great place to start. And a lot of people don't trust the information, but I think it's a great place to start so that you can you know, you have somewhere to go. You know, okay, so let's verify this information. If you're doing something, you know, really important, you have to know, verify it in other sites too. So, yeah, I mean, just Solar City and Tesla and this guy's, well, I guess these are kind of his children too, his businesses. So lots of kids and lots of businesses. All these different, I mean, neurotechnology and AI and Hyperloop and Twitter. He bought Twitter. Just kind of amazing, and very controversial at times. And I think a lot of people think he's a particular thing, but I think he's just all about freedom. And they talk about that with his family, because he was raised in South Africa. His father, Errol, had some pretty important positions, and they were well off, but they were also very against apartheid. And his maternal grandfather was American-born Canadian who took family on record-breaking journeys to Africa and Australia in single-engine Balanca plane. Anyway, lots of adventures, lots of different things, but he's just had kind of a normal upbringing, I would say, in a lot of ways. Parents divorced, and he's got the siblings. Let's see, they had their names up here: Kimball and Tosca. And I guess being from South Africa, they have some kind of unusual names. Even his name isn't something we usually see like here in the United States.
Might not be unusual over there.
Could be. Right. And he has some half siblings as well from his father's side. So he was kind of awkward and introverted. Oh, here it is. Developed this interest in computing and video games. And his first creation was a basic-based game called Blastar, which sold for approximately $500 to this magazine.
Well, and he said that it was a mediocre game, but it was better than Flappy Bird.
Yeah, which I've never even heard of, or I didn't hear of Blastar either. And so they talk about where he's been to school, his degrees, going from South Africa to Canada. And University of Pennsylvania. I mean, he's actually got some pretty decent degrees in it's physics and what's the
economics.
Economics and physics. And I guess he was going for the PhD when he decided, well, after 2 days, nope. He really was inspired by the internet boom. And so that's what he got into. And that's where this Zip2 started coming from. His father helped them with $2,800,000 in funding. They developed the city guide, maps, directions, and soon sold to, it's here. Yeah, that's why we have the list. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should probably look at the list.
Yeah, maybe.
But these are really good websites. We'll do that in a second. And they talk about SpaceX, Starlink, Tesla. It's truly amazing all the things he was doing at the same time. But yeah, you can read much more. Talk about a rabbit hole. Look at all those different things. Neuralink, the Boring Company, and it's funny. My friend, who's from Boeing, calls Boeing the Boring Company oftentimes. Just sort of a little joke for me and my friend from Boeing. All right. And this is kind of interesting too. If you want to read about, there's a lot of word out there about his leadership style, and he's kind of hard on his people, but they get results and other things.
Well, basically, he expects other people to work as hard as he does.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. This cave rescue idea. They try to create a submarine out of basically the rocket boosters, but they never did really use it. And then there's some other things in here. But I really like these like time paths, timelines, I would say, really. Here it is, timelines. Because they really give you kind of an idea, and it's in a chronological order. So, they say born in South Africa. They talk about the Blastar video game. And we found a link, and there it is. There's the game right there. And it's very, very primitive. But the universities, all kinds of good stuff in here. Move 2, good pictures. The Zip 2. I mean, it's really amazing that in this timeline, in February of 99, they worked on Zip 2. And then Compaq bought it. And I mean, just like within 3 years, he went from nothing to millions. Just really amazing. They talk about his marriage, eBay, SpaceX, all this, Tesla, Solar City. Yeah, really great websites. You can play the game if you want. If you're not too bored, if you want to be really zenned out, that's a good place. And they have some other ones here. They talk about XCOM. He bought it back, and it's a real site. You can go there and it has a little X in the corner. And if you get an error, it gives you a Y. So this is from Forbes, and they value him. He's been on the top and, back and forth a couple of different times. And, of course, the Britannica site has some good stuff, too. And then about the children. He's had a lot of in vitro and surrogate and funny names and all kinds of crazy stuff. So go back to us. We'll go through our timeline now. All right. So,
okay.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay. So, they say that his family was wealthy, but I would really peg it as upper middle class. Maybe a little bit higher, but he wasn't like part of the elite, But so they had some money. He was born June 28th, 1971. He's young.
Yes.
In Pretoria, South Africa. And his father was very actively against apartheid.
Yeah. He ran on a platform that was anti-apartheid.
His 2 siblings, a younger brother and younger sister, and as Pam mentioned, had some half siblings as well. After his parents divorced, they divorced in 79 or 80, and Musk lived with his father primarily. In 1983, at the age of 12.
He was 12.
Yeah. He sold a basic game that he
the Blastar,
Blastar
game
to a computer magazine for $500.
Amazing. At 12, age 12.
Yeah. After graduating high school, he went to the University of Pretoria briefly, and then went to Canada with his mother at 18, so that he could avoid basically the automatic draft to fight on the side of apartheid.
Yeah, and you found that one. I didn't see that anywhere, because Jeff actually found another website with even more detailed information. Not so good on times, but
and
way detailed.
I'll share the link, but I'm not going to try showing it because it's full of ads.
Terrible.
It's very hard to read. There's like this much information, this much ads.
Yeah, so pretty bad.
Yeah. He spent. Okay, so they moved to Canada. Basically, the whole purpose of moving to Canada was to get to the U.S.
Yeah, he figured he could leverage his mother's Canadian citizenship to get a Canadian passport, which would make it easier to come to the United States and become a U.S. citizen.
Well, yeah.
That's kind of the easiest path.
Yeah, so he's spent 2 years at Queen's University, and then went to University of Pennsylvania to get his bachelor's degree in economics and physics in 1994.
And you said there was something a little different about, like, the physics wasn't a science, but a liberal arts.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing. He got a Bachelor of Science in economics and a Bachelor of the Arts in physics.
How does that work?
Oh,
we forgot about the next part here, the frat house.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, and that's part of the, while he was at University of Pennsylvania, he and a classmate rented a 10-bedroom frat house and turned it into a nightclub.
So he's had this entrepreneurial bug pretty much his whole life. I mean, built a game at 12, sold it. Frat house from college, made it into a nightclub. It's like, He's definitely an entrepreneurial type.
Yeah, they don't tell us what happened with it or
No,
or anything like
you
that.
could
But
probably find out if you're
yeah,
not looking.
yeah, look for police records, I would think.
This is the fascinating part here.
Yeah.
This.
Okay. In California in 1995.
Well, they moved to California.
Yeah, well, he got accepted in the Stanford University's PhD program in physics. So they moved to California for that. And 2 days later, 2 days, he dropped out.
2 days.
And later that year, he created Zip2 with his brother Kimball and got funding from people in Silicon Valley and I think $28,000 from his dad.
Yeah, 28,000 from his dad and some. You found that about the Silicon Valley people. I didn't see that. So.
Well, that was mentioned one spot. So he might have had more funding than the 28 from his dad, 28K from his dad. But the one thing that we do know is 28K from his dad.
Right. This is a remarkable thing. He was kind of setting his pattern right here because.
Right. Yeah. Because he actually lived in the office and then would go to the YMCA to shower.
And he kind of does that at SpaceX sometimes. I understand he's very hands-on with all the businesses. So
yeah, my suspicion is that way he could save on rent too.
Could be.
Because he had limited funds. He wasn't drawing a salary, I would imagine.
Well, and I know in Silicon Valley the rents there can be just crazy. Like one guy bought a box truck and lived in the truck and did all the things at work because they offered, shower and food and all the things. I think Google was the company, maybe. So
yeah. Well,
but rent was just outrageous.
And Zip2 was a neighborhood pathing company that a lot of, or that some newspaper companies used. They in fact, a couple of big newspapers bought the program, and that's where that money came from. Oh, hey Daniel.
Hey Daniel, welcome. Thanks for being here. People wouldn't want to be him.
Yeah.
I don't think people could be him. He's definitely unique.
I don't think he can stay still. Because Zip2 was bought by Compaq in 1999.
So I remember that, 1999.
So he started it in 95 for 28K plus maybe some other investment. Compaq bought it in 1999, 4 years later, for $307 million. His part was $22 million. In March of 2000, so not too long after that, he co-founded X.com, which is a direct bank, is an online bank.
Call it a direct bank.
It was one of the first federally insured online banks. Then merged with Cofinity later in the same year. Confinity, the same year in 2000 to become PayPal. And then in October, now people
just a few months later
say that he owned or ran PayPal, but he started it in 2000, in March of 2000, merged with Confinity sometime in there. Then on October, PayPal was bought by eBay for $1.5 billion.
Yeah, just months. I mean, this the sequence of building and buying or merging and then selling it for tremendous amounts of money. Did you say the 1.5 billion?
Yeah. Yeah. So
amazing.
He got 167 million out of that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're talking months here. In 3 years, he basically went from nothing to selling this business for $1.5 billion. I mean, he's a unicorn. That just doesn't happen. But we kind of think he's an everyday spacer because in early 2001, this is kind of right after selling PayPal, he got involved with the Mars Society, and he actually went to Russia to try and buy ICBMs to launch payloads to Mars. Well, they said no. And he actually went back again in February of 2002. And they actually were like, sure, you can have one for $8 million.
Well, they said no because basically he was with a couple of other nobodies, and they said, "No, we're not selling you IBMs,
no.
ICBMs." Then he went back with Griffith in 2002.
Was that it? Okay.
Yeah, and so now he had someone with a reputation.
Okay.
So they offered him one for $8 million. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, I could probably do better. Don has a good comment here. He got out before the .com bust. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good timing, a good nose for timing, maybe too. Sort of a read. You know who was really good at that too is David Bowie. He could always kind of surf the trends and get out there and be first to do things that were going to go big. So
and also the stuff that he was doing wouldn't have been affected by the .com bust, because the .com bust was mostly people investing in ideas for websites. They'd have like the main page of the website with no actual structure behind it, just a paste up of the website, invest millions of dollars in it, and then nothing would happen.
Mahogany desks.
Yeah, and then it'd go under because there was nothing there.
Yeah.
In fact, Google had a hard time because they had no income. Facebook had no income stream at the time.
Well, then Google finally did come up with
they did
their advertising model,
and that was their whole business model, was to get more and more users until then they could advertise. And so because you couldn't sell advertising if you only had 10 users. So his PayPal or X.com, PayPal, whatever it became, wasn't subject to that. I mean, there was something real there, so it wouldn't have.
More of a banking solution,
right? Plus, it was privately owned.
Okay.
It was all of these IPOs that did it.
That failed. Okay.
Yeah, and it was basically the greater fool syndrome. People were throwing money in.
Yes.
They get lucky, so they throw it into another one, and eventually people realize that the emperor has no clothes, and it went poof, gone.
So then Musk founded SpaceX in, we think, May or June of 2002. When you read these things, they have a little bit different information, and it seems to could be conflicting. But he put in $100 million of his own money. He's moving fast and furious.
Yeah, because what was it? When did he sell to eBay? Yeah, 2001. He sold to eBay.
No, it was here. It was
PayPal.
Here. Yeah, PayPal got sold to eBay in October 2000. Yeah. He got involved with the Mars Society in 2001.
Right. Okay. 2001. Then
he tried to buy the missiles.
Yeah. Then founded SpaceX in 2002.
Yeah, this guy doesn't fool around.
Yeah. And with Tesla, he was an early investor in 2004.
So 2 years later,
he invested $70 million.
Yeah.
And he actually was he was one of the key developers of the Tesla Roadster in 2006.
So just 2 years again.
Yes.
Also,
also in 2006, he created Solar City, a solar power home and business company, which he put with his own money. He basically created it and then put his two cousins in charge. And at the same, and by the way, he ended up buying back. Tesla ended up buying that company for
Solar City.
Yeah, for a lot of money. So his cousins cashed out.
Right.
2006.
Same year.
2006. First launch of a Falcon 1, which failed. Then two more.
Rockets are hard.
Yeah. Well, and he never expected to go the first time. He just expected to learn each time. It was basically build, test, boom, build, test,
the fail forward fast model. Yeah.
So two more failed, and he almost went bankrupt. He had three balls in the air, and he almost went bankrupt during that. Then what saved his butt is in 2008, NASA gave him a contract of $1.6 billion for 12 Falcon 9 flights, and that saved SpaceX and basically put some cash in his pocket because.
And the remarkable thing to me is that whenever there's like a failure, usually, because I worked at Boeing for a while, it's a big deal. Everything gets shut down and they do all these investigations for a year or more. But nope, not Musk. Something happens, he's right back out there and launches again. It's like, yeah, if we're not failing, we're not working and we're not doing it right.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of the big companies, their whole public image is security. I mean, no one's going to put a satellite on a Boeing rocket that's known to blow up.
But so the Boeing had a very good rate.
Right.
They were 90% or better.
Right.
They launched.
So they did all of their blowing up in little test stands, and they basically kept it out of sight, engineered the heck out of it so that it wouldn't, so that no one would see that.
That's why they were so expensive too. Oh, yeah. Daniel comes in. All right, fun fact. Werner von Braun wrote a book, Project Mars, A Technical Tale. 1949, really, wow. Describes a leader of Mars with the title Elon. I wonder if Elon means something in some language.
It does in German.
Oh, it does.
Okay. And if his parents were spacers, that might have been why they named Elon.
Well, his mother was a model.
Yeah, his mother was.
But his father was an engineer, so he.
Right. Yeah. So.
And a couple things, engineer.
Yeah.
And different things.
So, who knows, Daniel? Yeah, there could be a causal relationship there, or it could just be.
Oh, you think maybe they were reading Werner von Braun's book in 1949?
It's possible. I mean,
okay, all right.
They very likely would have been able to read German, because.
Possibly. But his mother was like Canadian.
Right. But in South Africa, it's Danish and English.
Okay.
Are the languages.
And Danish is very
close to German, yes.
Yeah. In fact, you listen to Danish and you're like, it sounds kind of familiar because it's very English-ish. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
English comes from a lot of that kind of. English comes from a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah. So
NASA saves SpaceX.
Right. And he has enough money now that he then invested $40 million into Tesla and then loaned them another $40 million. The book was published till 30 years after.
Daniel comes back. The book wasn't or was published till 30 years after von Braun's death. So it wasn't even available in 1949.
Don't know.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. Tell us more, Daniel.
Yeah. So he invested essentially 80 million, 40 direct investment, 40 loan into Tesla.
He becomes this big. They make him the CEO.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Mighty coincidence that.
That's right. So by the end of 2015, SpaceX made 24 launches. And in 2015, Musk co-founded OpenAI. If you've heard of ChatGPT, which has kind of been going big since the November of 2022, he was part of that early on, but not later. I think he left pretty early too. Daniel says.
No, look at.
Dawn says, looked up Elon. Oak tree. Isn't that interesting? And Daniel says 2006. So 2006, this book was finally released, Daniel? Interesting. And his parents wouldn't have read it by then, right?
No. They
yeah.
wouldn't.
So, I mean, because he was named in 1971.
Yep.
So what else we have here? Oh, in 2016, the boosters that he wanted to recover and reuse them, they finally landed successfully on a platform out, probably in the ocean, right?
Yes.
Weren't those in the ocean?
Yeah.
Also, 2016, this guy's he's crazy. It's like, yes, let's go do this too.
Yeah.
The Boring Company was great. And this creates an underground network of tunnels that you can drive high speed, and there's no other traffic, there's no distractions, no off ramps and stuff. They actually got it working in Las Vegas. The one in Los Angeles, not so much. That one in Las Vegas opened in April of 2021, and I guess there's some other ones that'll be potentially working.
And I heard that they're looking to extend the Vegas one, but I don't know.
That'd be really cool. Come out here and drive over there in a couple hours. That'd be awesome.
I can't imagine it ever getting done in Los Angeles.
Too much liquefaction.
Well, you've got politics and earthquakes.
Oh, yes.
Both of which are hard on businesses.
Yes, they are. And in 2017, started Neuralink, which has to do with brain implants. So
Yeah, he's trying to create brain implants, or
which
was in 2017.
which I can totally believe would be very useful to a lot of different people and problematic in some other ways, maybe too. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in 2018, um, he launched a Falcon Heavy with his car in it.
With his car. And Starman, don't forget Starman.
Yes, yeah, with a dummy that he nicknamed Starman.
And played David Bowie's
and
music.
Yeah, and they say he launched it heading to orbit around Mars, but really he just launched in the same direction that Mars was going to end up in, and it ended up missing by a lot.
I think the deal was they couldn't really put a payload on it, but he wanted to launch something.
Well, yeah, it's because no one would risk a satellite on an untested rocket, and so he showed them that it could launch by launching his car.
Yeah, I wonder what that thing looks like now.
Yeah, a lot of what Elon seems to do is just say meaner.
Well, and a lot of it seems to have pop culture roots too. Was it heavy metal? Wasn't there a car in heavy metal that was out in space?
Well, it landed on the Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, or landed on a planet.
But you sit there and go, "Hey, wait, wasn't that in whatever pop culture thing?"
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so, it was a car with us top down, which is how he launched his Roadster.
Yep.
In 2019, he actually created he actually brought out the Cybertruck, which is the first electric pickup truck. Yeah. Although I don't know if you can really call it a pickup truck because it doesn't really have an open bed.
Yeah, it's a very different looking vehicle.
Very futuristic looking.
Very geodesic dome almost.
Yeah.
But kind of elongated. Like
I think someone was watching science fiction shows when he was a kid because that's what that car looks like.
Yeah, I get that from the other stuff he's done too.
And in 2020, first commercial flight to the space station with people. So we launched a couple of astronauts in 2020. 2021, Inspiration 4, where 4 regular folk, our kind of crowd, went higher than the Hubble and orbited Earth for 3 days, and kind of was a bit snarky to Bezos.
Oh.
And
yeah, there was a little bit of a runoff there.
Yeah.
We didn't write notes on that, but I remember.
Yeah. 2022, Musk bought Twitter, and the screaming began.
Well, and I think it's interesting because, people like to pigeonhole Musk. I'm not sure you can, and not to get too political because that's a different show. Like everyone, Musk is, and I really like the quote from, I didn't quite find exactly what I wanted, but go ahead and share. The idea of being incomparable. There's no way to compare 2 different people except for by things like, well, one is taller than the other and one is shorter than the other, but everyone is different in so many different ways. And I pulled this part out of the Witchcraft book yet again, and we can go back to us.
Yeah. So.
All right. So is that it for our notes?
Yeah. Well, and I think Elon is a problem solver. If he sees a problem, he goes to fix it. He thought that launching payloads was too expensive. So he went to fix it.
And he did.
There wasn't any online banking. He went to fix it.
Oh, gosh, we didn't even mention the whole internet via satellite, Starlink, right?
Yeah. And then
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Now that's...
Same thing. Problem solved.
Yeah. He wasn't the first one to do that sort of thing, but he was the first one to do it in a big way. In a
really big way, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of had these profiles before, and we've kind of sensed a theme for the different people. We mentioned that, but I think with Musk, it's more about freedom than anything else. And there's another comment from Don, so let's look at that. Neuralink is fascinating. They have to make a hole in your skull to attach wires to your brain. No joke, people are doing this. Like for depression, I don't know that they still have the whole drilling part going on.
Well, if they're putting anything directly onto the brain. They have to get through the skull.
Okay. And Daniel says you can get a
Neurosity
crown off Amazon for, what the heck is that? Neurosity crown? For $1,000. No skull hole required.
Right. Now, however, that thing can only read the electrical signals that the brain gives off. So it cannot actually put stuff into the brain. And the whole thing with the Neuralink is that it's basically goes both ways. Or that's the theory. I mean, I don't know if they have anything truly there, but
well, we've got magnetic stuff going on in our bodies, and I'll give you an example. I'm in the car. The car has this screen, and you touch it and things happen. Of course, you can do that with your cell phone too. But I'm curling up the wire that I was charging my cell phone with in the car, and the wire happened to brush against the screen, and it affected things. And I'm thinking, okay, so that means it's a magnetic field. Well, of course, the brain, and actually the whole chemical body, has magnetic things going on with it too. So it's conceivable that they're doing that based on magnetic, not a direct link.
Any changing electric field creates a magnetic field. Any movement through a magnetic field creates a
electricity.
Electric. Yeah.
And you can do the experiment. You can take a wire and attach it up to a gauge meter, and you can pass it through, and you'll see it jump. You'll see it jump one way and then the other, because it goes one way and then you bring it back, and that's basically where they get alternating current from. It goes back and forth. Yeah. So yeah. Any more questions? Go ahead and drop us a comment, and we'll see if we can answer it.
Yeah. Oh, and also while everyone's here, update Windows. Update Windows. I just saw an article. 3.5 million Windows-facing or internet-facing Windows computers are unpatched for 137 known flaws that are exploited. These are exploited flaws that people are exploiting all the time. They found 3.5 million computers that are not patched for those.
They found you. You should fix that.
And here's the thing. If these researchers can find those computers, so can the bad guys.
Yeah.
So, just Microsoft comes out with patches the second Tuesday of every month.
Okay.
Just patch. Patch now. At Wednesday of next week, patch again. And it's so easy. You just go into search.
Computer expert here.
Yeah, that's my job.
Search.
Yeah.
Don't you just update it from the reboot thing?
You can. I mean, a lot of computers will automatically do them on a reboot. Some are set to not. But you go into the search, just type the word update, and it'll usually pull in, check for updates or something like that, or update settings, anything like that. And
you're not talking about a search in the browser. You're talking about a search in the computer, right?
Yeah. In Windows 10, it's right next to the start button. Okay. In Windows 11, you hit the start button, and one of the options is search. Windows 7, hit the start button. One of the options is search.
Windows 7, you might want to update that.
Yeah. If you're on Windows XP,
I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Yeah, Jeff works in this industry. He definitely has opinions about this. Daniel came and left a comment with, "You can input to the brain, non-invasive." Very good.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do it precisely though, Daniel. And yes, you can like swamp an area with a magnetic field, but can you hit like certain like these 3 neurons? I don't think so.
Probably not.
But well, you can, but you'd need so much power in that magnetic field that you cook the guy. So yeah. Oh yeah, Daniel.
Daniel came back with, the black hats are patching quicker than the white hats.
Yes, because there's more of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for everyone trying to stop malware.
Yeah.
There's at least 10 people creating it.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Oh, and
because
hi, Janie.
Hey, Janie.
Elon Musk, fascinating mover and shaker profile. Yes, everyday moving target.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, we've just covered the stuff that you can find online. I mean, who knows what he's cooking up in his brain today? Thanks for being with us, Janie.
The one thing that I think that I know that he'll never do is that he'll never be U.S. president. Well,
No.
then he wasn't born here, so he can't.
He can't.
But I don't know if he would tolerate doing that anyway. But he might. If he was born here, he would probably run just to be able to do it, just to show that he could.
Janie, I thought I heard you had your event tomorrow. I haven't seen an email from you though, so I would love to attend. If Janie has a wonderful event once a month, and if you want to know more about it, hit me up, Pam@everydayspacer.com. Love to share that with you. Thanks, Janie. All right, you want to read this part?
Sure. Some stellar events this week, April 7th through April 14th. April 7th is Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday, everybody.
Yep. And the moon is in descending mode. I keep reading that as Depeche Mode, but you know, I'll show you my age. April 9th is Easter. Someone said
Janie Becker's got a comment.
Yeah.
We'll get back to this in a second. Janie says the U.S. government is too slow for Elon. Can you write us on emails? Yes, thank you. I'm looking forward to it, Janie.
Yeah. That's what I figured, is that he wouldn't be able to stand being president, but he might run he might have ran just to do it, just to say, meaner. I mean, that's
yeah. And I love it when someone like that would run, because you can't buy him. He's got more money than God is like, really, what do you got to offer me? I'm not, what? I got billions. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
You're a little piddly bribe or whatever. You just can't buy someone like that.
If you think about it, in some ways, Elon is a nerd troll. I mean, think of all the tweets that he used to do. It was just...
Still does.
Yeah, and still does. It was just to wind people up.
Okay.
And,
let's wind you up and see what you do.
Yeah.
And the screaming ensues.
Yeah, it's kind of like, let's push this button, see what happens.
He probably doesn't even care. Like, if somebody's...
No, it's entertainment for him.
It's all bent out of shape about something he says. It's like, well, there you go.
Yep.
Don't give people that kind of power, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's entertainment for him.
Just stay calm.
Yeah.
All right. April 11th.
April 11th. Jupiter and the Sun are in conjunction.
Yeah.
And Mercury is at the greatest eastern elongation.
He runs his daggerate people.
Yep.
Yeah, Mercury pretty high this time, I think.
Yeah.
In the west.
Yep.
In the west.
And greatest eastern elongation, which means it's stretched really long.
What's that? Go ahead.
April 12th is Uri's night.
Does anybody not know what Uri's night is? Let us know. So, because that's a really cool. Cool and important date.
Yep. And Globe at Night has a new project. It runs April 12th through the 21st of 2023. In the Northern Hemisphere, look for Leo. In the Southern Hemisphere, you can look for either Crux or Leo. I guess whichever one's brightest for you.
Yeah, they say take your pick. They've started something new this year, and they can say, yeah, look for Crux or look for Leo, whichever you prefer. Leo's actually probably easier than Crux to find out. I've not seen Crux. And
Leo would be closer to the equator, so it depends on where the mountains are relative to you.
Yeah, that makes sense too, yeah.
So go out, take pictures, and report to the site so that they can basically help build dark sky maps. That's what that's for.
That tells you about Janie. Oh, and Daniel comes back. Very good episode. Ad Astra and thank you so much, Daniel. Really appreciate that. And of course, none of this is super extensive. You want to learn more about Elon Musk, definitely go checking. We'll send some links your way in a little bit.
And Janie, Leo wins.
Yeah, also. So where were you? The Globe at Night, very important. Very important, we're told.
Yeah. And April 13th, last quarter moon, and Pluto and the moon are in conjunction, one of which you'll see. April 14th is our Friday night show, and we're going to revisit a topic we've done before and see if there's anything new. Stay tuned. And Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff has a thing here. I am still waiting for anything for the Everyday Spacer Talent Show. If you have done something interesting, have cool pictures, whatever, send them my way. Pam@everydayspacer.com. And yeah, you know what, Cliff? As soon as we got stuff, we'll do something. All right. And hopefully you've got clear skies someday. You can give us good pictures too. I'll be in Cambria April 14th. Where's Cambria?
Well, I don't know, but everything before that is Precambrian, right?
Thank you, Jeff.
The age of the reptiles.
You go ahead and finish up that part. Oh, Lord.
Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel.
And we do like to tell you about some other events and activities. We actually found a new one. So I'm going to go over the Space Symposium again. That's April 17th to 20th. It will be happening at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is hosted by the Space Foundation, spacesymposium.org. And we've shown this before. So then there's the Space Education Symposium. That's the thing that Jeff went to last November. Found some really good speakers. It will be happening on Friday the 21st, like the very next day. It's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's an all-day conference. That is hosted by the Human Space Program. And Frank White, Overview Effect guy, is behind that. spaceeducation.squarespace.com. Say that 10 times fast. And the new one, we found
once.
We found out about this on Saturday at the Inspired 24 Mastermind Group meeting. The Analog Astronaut Conference for 2023 is happening May 4th through 7th. That will be at Biosphere 2 in Arizona, United States. Do we have? I have a thing for that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead and share our screen.
Okay.
Here it is, and Dr.
Sion Proctor.
Sion Proctor is behind this with Jas. She was at the meeting. Here she is, Jas Perwell and Dr. Proctor. All right, so what else do we have on our list for today?
We've got a bunch of comments too.
Oh, go for it. Let's do. Oh,
okay.
Let's come back to us.
So
there we are.
Janie says Cambria is Central California coast.
What you doing there, Janie?
And Daniel apparently loves Cambria,
right.
so that's cool. And Scott.
Well, thank you, Scott.
Great show. I really appreciate it. Thank you,
Scott.
Yeah,
I learned a lot about Elon Musk that I never knew before. I mean, that was just wow. So yeah. If you've got more comments, we will check in a little bit. And of course, anytime during the week, you can contact us, Facebook, email, whatever you want.
Yep.
And
so if you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, April 14th. We'll revisit micro observatories and NASA's Astrophoto Challenge.
You know, it's been a couple years, and Cliff actually invited me to join a Facebook group earlier today, and it reminded me about those shows. And it's like, oh, what's happening with those? So I went and looked them up, and we're gonna update, what we know about that and what's happening now with it. We're also in talks with someone who wants to be a guest on our show. He is attending school though, so we might be hearing from him kind of summer or fall. And thank you so much, Dawn. I really appreciate that. We're so glad you're here, Jenny. Dawn. And
Jenny has one of her.
Oh, okay. I missed it. Sorry. Field trip with friend from Sacramento. Yay! And thank you also. So Dawn and Janie and Scott and Daniel and Cliff. And I know Ryan was here too. Did we miss anybody? I think that was it. We're so glad you're here. Yeah. We love you. We love our audience. You really make a difference for us. So have a great week, folks. Let me check again. I think that's it for now.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night.